Right, Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory. It goes to YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham, Rakah, double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, Brakatham to the hopeful elect. Shalom, shalom. This is just a history lesson, you could say, regarding, the customs of the Israelites and how they match up with the northern kingdom on the other side of the world at the time. So I was on the road earlier today, and when I'm driving, I don't really like listen to music. I probably watch a documentary or something. So I watched this one, Lost World of the Maya. And I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip, but this has to do with burying bones, and that's an important or that has significance in the ancient world, which shows they had that same significance with burying bones in the northern kingdom. See, nowadays they just throw you in a casket and it's whatever, man. But in the ancient world, you want to be buried with your fathers. A lot of times you had that phrase where it says they were buried in the sepulcher of their fathers. So the bones of your ancestors was very important, and you wanted to be buried in that same land. Now, Jake, they scattered out throughout all different cemeteries, throughout America. Which, in the kingdom of heaven, we ain't gonna have to worry about this, but it just shows the traditions and customs.
Is an enormous stairway, which would have taken you up to the top of what we think is the palace or the plantation house or the big house. Even the modern sense, a very palatial kind of construction.
They've dubbed the site Stairway to Heaven.
A place like Stairway to Heaven is amazing in the sense that they built a 9-10 room mansion up there. I mean, that's a very nice building, a 9th century McMansion, okay, living up on top of that hill.
But who would have been rich enough and audacious enough to build such over-the-top real estate? Archaeologist Stephanie Sims is digging for answers. Tearing up the floor of one of the 22 large stone buildings that make up the estate. Under the floor, a tantalizing clue.
Here I am sitting beneath the floor, level being right here, of a 3-room elite residence up on the hilltop. And here, just beneath the floor, are a few capstones covering a dedicatory offering.
The offering consists of a ceramic bowl and plate that appear to have been placed under the floor when the house was built.
It's a little suspicious that it would be odd to place a plate upside down like that without covering something, so.
As the team carefully removes the plate, specks of evidence surface.
Little teeny fragments of very badly decomposed, kind of eroded, degraded bone. Still can't tell yet whether it's human bone or animal bone, but my guess is human.
The large capstones flanking the offering may be hiding something else. It was common practice of the Maya to rebury the defleshed bones of their deceased ancestors. It's called secondary burial.
Our thinking with these secondary burials is that they're bringing bones or parts of family members to new locations to sanctify the structures that they're building.
Okay. He said they're bringing bones to new structures to sanctify the parts that they're building. You see? And the first example you have of that in the scriptures is with Joseph. This is Exodus chapter 13 verses 18. It says, "But the Most High led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea, and the children of Israel went up harnessed out of the land of Egypt. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him For he has straitly sworn to the children of Israel, saying, the Most High will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones away with you. And they took their journey from Succoth and camped in Etham in the edge of the wilderness. You see? So Joseph's bones that helped sanctify the land of Israel. You see, the same way that the ancient Maya were doing, that had importance to them. They didn't just, they didn't just find an open field and bury the guy and that's what it was. No, it was importance to them. Give me 1 second. And the account continues in Joshua chapter 24. It says, and it came to pass after these things that Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died, being 110 years old. And they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timnath-sereth, which is in Mount Ephraim, on the north side of the hill of Gaash. And Israelites, they were put in caves or mountains as well. But the importance is that they were all in one central spot. It says, and Israel served the Lord all the days of Joshua and all the days of the elders that overlived Joshua, and which had known all the works of the Lord that he had done for Israel. And the bones of Joseph, they had to carry the bones that long, even going from Moses all the way to Joshua. And the bones of Joseph, which the children of Israel brought up out of Egypt, buried they in Shechem, in a parcel of ground which Jacob bought of the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of silver, and it became an inheritance of the children of Joseph. Right, so that was sanctified for the tribe of Ephraim, the bones of Joseph. But you also, King David did the same thing. You see, because this is important. This is 2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 19. It says, and he delivered them into the hands of the Gibeonites, and they hanged them in the hill before the Lord. And they fell 7 together and were put to death in the days of harvest, in the first days, in the beginning of barley harvest, which they hung up the bones of Saul and Jonathan, which is a disrespect. And Rizpah, the daughter of Ai, took sackcloth and spread it for her upon a rock from the beginning of harvest until water dropped upon them out of heaven, and suffered neither the birds of the air to rest on them by day, nor beasts of the field by night. And it was told David what Rizpah, the daughter of Ai, the concubine of Saul, had done. And David went and took the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan his son from the men of Jabesh-Gilead, which had stolen them from the street of Bethshan, where the Philistines had hanged them, when the Philistines had slain Saul in Gilboa. See, because that was a disrespect to leave bones hanging. That's really taunting the Israelites. But you see, they stole the bones. They could have stolen anything. Why those? Because they had importance. It says, and he brought up from thence the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan his son, and they gathered the bones of them that were hanged. And the bones of Saul and Jonathan his son buried they in the country of Benjamin in Zelah, in the sepulchre of Kish his father. And they performed all that the king commanded, and after that the Most High was entreated for the land. See, so he was able to be buried with his fathers, the same way what the Maya was done. Let's go back and look into it now that we got some scriptures. Let's go ahead and look at that again.
Flanking the offering may be hiding something else. It was common practice of the Maya to rebury the defleshed bones of their deceased ancestors. It's called secondary burial.
Our thinking with these secondary burials is that they're bringing bones or parts of family members to new locations to sanctify the structures that they're building.
The capstones under the floor of the house come off. A human tooth.
Confirming our suspicions that this is a human burial. This is a lower incisor right here. There are several, and we're still waiting to uncover to see how many there are.
Though badly decomposed from the acidic soil, Stephanie can make out the remains of a human skull and arm and leg bones.
So this demonstrates to us that this offering is part of the burial underneath dedicating this house.
Back in the lab.
See? So going back, man. Now it was more of a blessing or being sanctified a building, but it's also a curse to have your bones scattered. You know, which we're going to get into as prophecy as well, which did happen. This is Psalms 53:4. Have the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread? They have not called upon the Most High. They were in great fear where no fear was. For the Most High has scattered the bones of him that encampeth against thee. Thou hast put them to shame, because the Most High despised them. Right, when your bones are scattered, that's a shameful thing, man. But to have your bones together, to have the sepulcher of your fathers, you know, together, that is a honorary thing. You know, especially to be buried in the same sepulcher. That's an honorary thing. But as we're going to get in this Jeremiah 81, it's also prophecy that, you know, the bones of the Israelites are going to be scattered. That's why it's hard to find the archaeology behind, you know, the Israelites, because it's prophecy that our bones are going to be spread out. Because back in the day, you would know where the prophet Jeremiah was buried. You know where the prophet Ezekiel was buried. Shoot, I think it was Elijah. His bones, they had dug up his bones and they had revived somebody, man. You see, but now, hey, all of it's lost. Jeremiah 8:1. At the time, saith the Lord, they shall bring out the bones of the king of Judah, and the kings of the princes, and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their graves. And they shall spread them before the sun and the moon, and all the hosts of heaven, whom they have loved, and whom they have served, and after whom they have walked, and whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered nor be buried. They shall be for dung upon the face of the earth. Right. So, hey, all of that's lost. All of that's lost due to the curses, due to the captivity. You see, this is why we need the kingdom of heaven, because in the kingdom, not one Israelite is going to die, man. You know, we're going to have all of our bones together. But, you know, this is just a quick lesson. You know, it had sparked my interest. Lord willing, this edifying, all praises, honor, and glory, it goes to YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. YAHAWAH, Bashib, YAHAWASHI, Brakatha up to the whole full elect. Shalom, shalom.